The right to offend is not some pesky little part of freedom of speech that we have to put up with. It is the heart and soul and lungs of freedom of speech. It is the coursing lifeblood of human progress. It is the instigator of liberty and modernity and science and understanding. What a laughing stock today's student leaders are, that they can so casually dismiss the right to be offensive without realizing that their lovely, enlightened lives are the gift of individuals who gave offense. Offensiveness is not just something we have to begrudgingly accept. Offensiveness is the motor of human progress.
Well, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Whitfield Report. Man, has it been a crazy 24 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Really, it's been more of a crazy 12 hours if you want to think about it. But I was not expecting that debate to go the way it did. Not so much in the sense that, like, obviously we know that Trump is better than Biden. That's not really the shocker here. What is shocking, and I'm just going to say this from the outset of the show, folks, is the fact that Biden had CNN doing the debate for him, and they're obviously to the left. He had an empty, basically had like an empty audience. There was no audience. There were rumors that he had the questions leaked to him ahead of time. We can't confirm that, but there is there is a very good chance that was the case. And basically, with every advantage in the book, Biden still managed to flounder his way through the debate, and he was clearly like staring off into space and didn't know where he was half the time. And even with the 2-minute delays that CNN was putting up, like, they couldn't they couldn't do damage control for him, and it was really bad. So I'm not even really sure if this was a victory for Trump so much as that it was like an overwhelming defeat for Biden. But we'll get into some clips, but overall, the reason why I'm doing this show today, folks, is because it was monumental to just watch this thing. And I have to be honest, like, I wasn't initially planning on watching it, either. Like last week, what happened was Jed Revenwolf, who is one of the Rumble creators, he does pop culture and retro comic book type stuff. He does lots of stuff with Joe's Atmosphere, which was the channel I was on last night. And so Jed called me last week and asked me if I wanted to come on to do the debate. And at first I was kind of like hesitant to, but like Joe and that whole crew has done, they've helped me out with like promoting the book and promoting the podcast on Rumble, and they they really came out for me when I needed it. So they asked me to be a part of their panel, and I was happy to oblige them. So I figured that we would have fun, like laughing at Biden's gaffes, but none of us on the panel expected for Biden just to be that bad. What's even more kind of shocking, Biden being bad isn't the shocking thing. What was shocking and what is shocking today is even the drive-by media, as Rush used to like to refer to them as. Even the drive-by establishment media, even they've been forced to acknowledge that Biden did not perform well and that this was an utter and complete disaster for them. And, as proof of that, let's start off with a clip from CNN and Van Jones, who is a, he is a chief Democrat, influencer. I believe he's actually a strategist. And, Van Jones was big in the Obama, era camp. And he was saying that this was basically painful to watch. So, let's take a listen to this. And it's a long clip, but I'm going to play it and, share the show link around. And, yeah. So, here's Van Jones on CNN talking about the disaster that was the debate. Let's play the clip.
Jill Biden, the First Lady, has come out, former President Trump walking off the stage. The first debate of the 2024 campaign and the earliest presidential debate ever now in the books and in front of the voters. Tonight, along with Aaron Burnett, the first word on what those voters might make of it from our political professionals, from our CNN Flash poll and swing state focus group. We'll be talking to surrogates, including Vice President Harris, getting fact checks from our Daniel Dale and new reporting from inside both campaigns. With me here, CNN political commentator Scott Jennings, Kate Bedingfield, David Urban, Van Jones, Alyssa Farr Griffin, and Newsnight anchor Abby Phillip, and David Axelrod, and CNN chief national correspondent John King. John, let me start with you. Your thoughts.
Anderson, this was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials. It involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates. Let me be clear. None of them, and a lot of Republicans, don't think Donald Trump had a great night. Donald Trump broke the fact check machine more than I can count tonight. That will be on the record as we go forward. He refused to answer some very specific and direct questions about his conduct, about January 6th and what all. So that will be dealt with out there. And sometimes there's a parallel universe between the political elites and the American people.
Okay, so right there, I just want to pause that real quick, ladies and gentlemen, because this is another point that I want to bring up. This guy on CNN is somewhat right. Like, this wasn't a great night for Trump, but Biden was so bad that Trump didn't even have to bring his A game at all. Trump, and I said this last night on the panel afterwards, Trump at the beginning of the debate actually stayed under the time limit, answered a lot of questions directly, and was on point and was laser focused. When Biden was, stumbling over his words. Now, later in the debate, when CNN brought up things like, January 6th and Trump's conviction, Trump did kind of start to go into, more Trumpular mode, as I like to call it. He kind of went off script as he usually does. And, he was Trump. And obviously CNN doesn't like that. So, we're going to account for that. And listen, Trump fully knows that like the deck was stacked against him. You can bet your bottom dollar that he knew going in that the deck was going to be stacked against him. But like, I honestly have to wonder if like what Trump thinks of this, because like Biden's performance was so just abysmal that like even the New York Times is concerned about this, right? So that is one thing. So, and by the way, hello to both Chibi and Max in chat. Max was actually on Bits and Bones last night, which my original plan actually was to join Bits and Bones because I thought the debate wasn't going to go anywhere. And so like I thought it would be boring, but it wasn't. And actually, like, this was the other thing, too. Rumble crashed last night, too, because there was such an influx of people going over to Rumble, because I guess YouTube kept, like, banning, people who were streaming the debate on their channels, which we knew was going to happen.
Yes, sir.
But, yeah. Well, Max, how are you doing this Friday, sir?
Amused. We couldn't have expected it to go this well, essentially. Like, everybody, this is one moment where for most reasonable people who aren't so wrapped up in TDS that they can't see the forest for the trees, got a taste of what a lot of us have seen Joe Biden like since before he was even elected, quote unquote. They got to see an old man who has no idea where the fuck he is, no idea what the fuck he's saying. And I've heard a copes from some people that it's, oh, well, you're making fun of a speech impediment. That's the old thing. But no, he literally was not answering questions that were being asked of him. It was more than that. And so those people can cope and pretend that that's what it is. But the reality is the American people are seeing Joe Biden's not competent for the job, and the Democrats are freaking out about it.
Listen, in regardless
of how Trump did in the debate, it's kind of irrelevant. That's what people are talking about, is Joe Biden might not be fit for the fucking job.
Yeah, well, in regards to the whole speech impediment thing, I even tweeted this out, and I think you retweeted it, but because like that was a cope that people making from the get go, but like Morpheus and I both have speech impediments, right? This was not a speech
Yeah.
impediment.
If I ask Sam a question, he doesn't ramble incoherently for 3 minutes. That's not what a speech impediment is. He answers the question, and then maybe in the course of that answer, he might stutter a little or pronounce a word wrong. That's the speech impediment.
Right. Yeah, I don't like I've never seen Morpheus like if I ask him a question, I've never seen Morpheus like stare off into space for 5 minutes while his brain tries to, reboot and like figure out like that's what this was like. Like someone would ask Biden a question, and it was like trying to watch like an old computer like take forever to like boot up a program or something.
Wow. Hey, we finally beat Medicare, Sam. Are you happy? Day we can be proud of. We finally beat Medicare. The cope I've seen again from the left is rather than talk about Biden, they'll talk about, oh, can you believe the crazy thing Trump said? He said he cares about black jobs. What's black jobs? Oh, and it's like, you know what the fuck he meant. Don't act like you didn't know what the fuck he meant. He's talking about jobs in particularly places that would give more black people access to them. That's what black jobs means.
Which is something.
If white people happen to go and apply for that job, that's whatever. But it just so happens that he's trying to talk about building businesses in, areas that are predominantly black, meaning that most of those jobs would end up being black jobs for black people.
Yeah,
I don't know how that confuses anybody, and I think that anybody saying that is being very disingenuous.
Well, they created
because Bill Clinton and Barack Obama both also talked about black jobs. So give me a fucking break.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They created the term black jobs, and now they're upset that Trump is using it. So, but yeah,
the whole thing is amazing. I was like, this is going to be the most nothing burger debate ever, and it kind of was, except for the exposure. A lot of people haven't seen Joe unedited for this long ever. This is the first time for most of them.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too. Was like I got text messages from people being like, I thought all those clips of Biden looking dumb were just edits, from like conservative media to make him look bad, but no, like maybe some of them are, but like this was unedited, and what I love too is like
and favorable to him. Like across the board, the whole thing was favorable to him, which is funny because now his campaign is saying that the debate was rigged against him. And he's right, because it requires talking, and he's not good at that.
It required him showing up. It I literally, I don't think he was there like physically, but the lights weren't on. I've talked about this before, but like, when you have a relative or someone who is dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia, you can see that like the light isn't, that like they're alive, but they're not there.
I think he's got some sunsetting, right? And that's where to explain to people, that's if you've never dealt with a person with dementia or anything similar, senility, whatever you want to call it, the older people, around 4 or 5 p.m., they start to become less coherent. And because people say, well, Joe Biden is coherent sometimes. And it does seem that when that occurs is usually midday, right? If he does a midday press conference, he can get through it without too many gaffes. He still does, but like he can work his way through a midday thing. Right. This was a primetime debate. That's well after sundown. And if you have that issue, right? And the reason that issue occurs is, I understand it as a layman. I'm not a medical person, but it's because of the immense strain on the body and brain of an older person trying to process their daily behavior. Basically, it's their body's way of and their brain's way of saying, it's bedtime, bro. It was past his fucking bedtime. Yeah. He couldn't comprehend what was going on, like a toddler. Or actually, no, a toddler can. Toddler likes to stay up past their bedtime. Maybe like an infant.
Well, and like I guess I didn't see this because I had to run to get a drink during the break, but like supposedly like Jill had to run up there and had to help him, like tap him on the shoulder.
She had to help him down the it's not even a full stair. It's like, you know the ones, because they're probably a pain in the ass with your fucking chair. That you it's like just enough that you'd probably just roll down it real quick and be done with it. But like, it's certainly not a big fucking step. It's like maybe an inch and a half. And he's looking at it like he's about to step off the side of a building, and she has to help him down. That's really telling. I don't think he's physically holding up very well either. I think that gets not looked at, but like, I've seen a lot of behaviors in Joe Biden that if it was my grandpa, I would be like, Granddad, we got to take you to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, just little things, like he has twitches sometimes, like he has those sundown moments where he absolutely forgets where he is. Like we finally beat Medicare. One, what does that mean? What context does that make any sense? There is none. Two, right before that, he mumbled for about 30 seconds, said COVID. Like, he said a bunch of buzzwords in mumbles and then finished with, and we finally beat Medicare.
Yeah, he also...
Are you dirty of Medicare, Joe? Isn't that your thing, Joe? You beat it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that was one of the things that Trump actually brought up, was the fact, like, now all these illegals are like.
Well, I love because Trump's immediate rebuttal was, "Oh yeah, he definitely beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's gonna beat Medicaid to death too."
Yeah, which
savage.
Which that's why I'm trying to get my wheelchair now. So it's
See, that's the context. He was channeling future Sam when he gets his wheelchair, and he can say, "I finally beat Medicare." That's what it was. Because any other context doesn't make any fucking sense. We beat Medicare. That's not just a gaffe. That's I don't know who I am or what I'm saying moment. That's not a speech impediment either. He didn't stutter. He didn't stumble. He just said something insane.
He also said that like people in the South get raped by their like
my God, yeah. Good Lord. Oh, yeah, we're bringing in all these illegals who are raping people. Yeah, well, people in the South rape people. Yes, Joe, both of those things are bad.
You know it's bad when it's bad when Russell Brand is shocked by stuff.
Also, Joe, no, not just the South. Basically everywhere in the country, people, there's people who are pedophiles. That's not the same thing, Joe. Good Lord, there's people up here to do that too. Like, the shit on the South like that is fucking, in this day and age, are you that stupid? Some of the smartest people I knew ever were from the South.
Yeah, I live in the South, and
right. I don't understand the shitting on Southern people thing. There's low class trailer park child molesting freaks up here and out west, and in the Midwest, and in Canada. And everywhere there's people, because there's broken fucking weird people in the world. Stop demonizing the South, for fuck's sake. It's not. It's
Well,
the Civil War has been over 150 years, guys. Let's chill.
But it has been over. It has been over long enough, Max. Because you just don't understand because of white privilege.
Yeah, and we didn't punish the South enough, right? That's my favorite. Is like, oh yeah, they didn't spend the next 75 years under a military occupation dictatorship, right?
Yeah. So my other favorite thing,
the northern people in the audience are going to be like, Max, what the fuck are you talking about? And every southerner is going to be like, yup.
I'm not even originally from the South, and I'm like, damn, the South kind of got a raw deal after the Civil War.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people will be like, oh, the South did all these Jim Crow laws. No, those were actually imposed upon them by the federal government. Just so people know.
Yeah.
The Democrat-run federal government specifically. The Democrats, I think this has been lost on a lot of people. The Democrats, who are the party of the KKK, the Democrats, who are the party of pro-slavery, the Democrats who oppose civil rights. Those Democrats. That's the party that's telling me they're anti-racist. And that I'm a racist, actually.
Yeah. So do you want to see
also,
something funny?
Real quick, Sam. One more shot at Joe Biden on this topic. Also, Joe Biden is the only living senator to use the N-word derogatorily about another person on the Senate floor.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He is the only living senator who has done that has used the N-word, hard R, derogatorily about a black man on the Senate floor. That is Joe Biden. That is one of his claims to fame. 1976, by the way.
That was all the way back in 76. I thought.
Yes.
I thought we were talking at the Clarence Thomas thing, which by the way,
he did not. I will say this: he didn't say the N-word about Clarence Thomas. He just said everything but.
Yeah.
And he called him a rapist, like most black men. That's a quote. That's a Joe Biden quote. Joe Biden said that most black men are rapists.
Yeah. Yeah.
He also called them super predators. You want to tell me that I'm the racist? This is your guy. You want to say he's changed? Well, we don't get the benefit of a doubt that we change, do we, Sam? We get cancel cultured, right? People will call your employer and shit because you said something 20 years ago. Well, he said a hard R at a black politician.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is he not canceled?
Yeah, people are getting fired from their jobs for memes that they posted back in high school now.
Right.
And yet, we're also supposed to I also love this retort because Biden got pissed and was like, well you're a felon, and Trump was just like, yeah, and so's your son, and so are you. So which that's the other thing too, is because Trump brought up the fact that that Biden had top secret documents in his house. And of course, CNN muted his microphone as soon as he brought that up. But Biden, when Trump said that, Biden just got this 1,000-yard stare, oh shit, he knows, or something like that. And it's bro, we all know you have classified documents in your house, Joe. We all know you do.
Yep.
So,
and there's certainly some stuff he wishes was classified on Hunter's laptop.
Oh, yeah.
Man, does he wish that was classified. Like those pictures of the underage prostitutes and whatnot.
Well, yeah. Well, that also, there are supposedly state secrets on that laptop too. So yeah. Imagine
why not give your state secrets to a known crackhead, right? I mean, what's the harm?
Well, imagine keeping like classified like CIA, documents on the same laptop you jerk off on. I mean, I get that Hunter wants to be James Bond, but like that's not how you do it, Hunter. So
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
oh yeah. But anyway, speaking of people being on cocaine, Joe Scarborough had a great cope last night. Not and that it was like a good cope, but it was just like hilariously bad. So this was MSNBC's reaction to the debate.
Oh, I'm sure they were thrilled.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, I don't know if people knew this or not. Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, I don't really care. Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you.
Well, like that's Joe Scarborough.
Yeah. Mainstream journo says, if it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And everybody claps and believes them, right? Give me a fucking break, Joe.
That's like the best cope of no. Actually, he did really well last night.
He did a Mersh there, right? It's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's how you know the person's lying when they have to tell you how honest they're being.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. That was Mersh. Black Twitter, by the way, like loves Trump now. By the way, they also called Black Twitter was actually calling Biden the N-word last night, and not in like a cool way either. They were like, "What's this N-word on?" So, yeah.
Well, they can rest assured that he was very competent not that long ago when he put people from their family in prison for minor drug possession. Because if you're black, Joe Biden put somebody in your family, like statistically, somebody in your family was put in by the Joe Biden crime bill.
Yep, and
as a matter of fact, if you're white, there's the odds are that somebody in your family got put in jail by the Joe Biden crime bill for minor possession as well.
Yeah.
Maybe extended family, but yeah, pretty much everybody is affected in some way by that crime bill.
Well, a lot of that has to do with socioeconomics more than race. Yeah. It's like, and you can speak to that more probably than anyone else here.
Well, there's a racial tangent to some of the socioeconomic stuff simply because a lot of poor black people are clustered together in inner cities, right? And it is socioeconomic because it's where they're at and the economic status that they have that's creating a lot of these problems. But if you're a young white kid that lives in the same neighborhood, the impact is the same. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I was. I was the poor white kid in that neighborhood. And that's what it was like. We were all poor, all together, right? And we all thought drug dealers and gangbangers were kind of cool. right? I mean, of course they were. They were the guys with the cool cars. They were the guys with the nice clothes. They had interesting lives. All the women wanted them. Of course you'd look up to the gangbangers. Why wouldn't you?
Sure.
I think a lot of people that's lost on them. They think, oh, why? They're just worshiping criminals. And it's like, well, there's a lot of reasons a young, poor person, it doesn't have to be black, because I was not, still not, by the way. They're cool. They have money. They're not struggling like everybody else. You know, you're over there wearing your hand-me-downs, right? And maybe laundry doesn't happen as often as you'd like because your family can't afford it. And here's a guy, he's got all the freshest fucking shoes. He's got the nicest fucking clothes. He's got like this fucking cool leather wallet, right? He's driving a fucking caddy. He's got 5 bitches that are following him everywhere he goes. How am I not supposed to look up to that guy? Where's the positive role models that I'm supposed to look up to? I didn't see any. Not in my hood.
Well, Barack Obama, you know, that was supposedly Obama was going to fix race relations, right? That was
but he's a rich fag from Hawaii.
I know that. I'm just telling you what they sold Obama as.
Yeah. He never stepped foot in the hood in Chicago. And actually, like, that's the thing. They're like, he's from Chicago. No, he's not. He's never been from Chicago. Fucking Michelle is from Chicago. And he went there and visited. And then was like, oh, I really like Chicago. Yeah, of course you do. You're with the rich people. Why don't you go down to O Block? Eh?
Yeah.
Mr. Barry, Mr. Obama, why don't you go hang out down on O Block? Why don't you go see why they be smoking on Tuca? Huh? Why don't you go down there? Why don't you go talk to some of the fucking disciples, huh?
Yeah, go to the west side. So, well, this begs an interesting question because now, you know, the media is in full like panic mode. They're even saying that Biden needs to, drop out. So,
that'll stop by the end of the week, by the way, because Hillary and Obama have already decided they're not taking him out.
So no used car salesman.
It would be the death of their party if they pull him. Because civil war that will erupt at their convention, and it's already going to happen. This is 1968 Chicago DNC all over again. The exact same conditions, except the only difference is that the nominee wasn't assassinated, okay? But other than that, if you tried to replace him, yeah, I get it that a lot of people are behind the used car salesman Gavin Newsom, but a lot of people would be behind Hillary, and a lot of people would be behind, they'd have especially the pro-Palestine people who are already going to interfere. That's why I say the DNC is going to get fucked with. It's going to get fucked with by the Palestine lobby for sure.
Yeah.
They would put forward somebody, right? And, the entire DNC would be an absolute civil war if they pull Biden. And that's why the big dogs, you don't listen to the little yappy pups on CNN. You want to know what's going on in the Democrat Party. There's 2 people you need to hear what they're saying, and that's the plan. Okay? Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. Both of them are standing behind Joe very firmly right now. They've made public statements about it. So I don't think for 1 second that the actual DNC plans on pulling Joe Biden.
Well, which I'm fine with that because, like, you know, they're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And I said this.
A place they put themselves.
Yeah. And I said this back in 2020 after the election was stolen. I said the one positive here is that Biden is going to be so bad that they've now got themselves in a corner So in 2024, they're going to be stuck with them. And here we are.
Right. And it's funny too, because you can point out populism on the left. You can point out who has organic support and who doesn't. And you know how you can do that? People are mentioning people to replace Joe Biden. You know, like I said, don't listen to the yappy dogs, but they're talking, right? And so I've been seeing what they're saying. Look at who they're saying to replace Joe and look at who they're not. So if Pete Buttigieg had all this organic support that they claimed in 2020, why isn't he the one? If Kamala is so great and they love her so much, why aren't they like, yeah, he should just step down and we should have Kamala? Right? It's obvious what's going on. These people don't have that organic support. So they're putting forward names of people that do. And yes, Gavin Newsom from the left has organic support. You definitely, Hillary Clinton has organic support. If they wanted to replace Joe with Hillary, I think that a lot of people would get out the way. But the fact that she's saying no should tell you all you need to know. I don't think that Biden's will get out of the way for anybody but Hillary, actually.
Well, I think Hillary knows too, like, that the Clintons have to know how unlikable they are at this point too.
No, she definitely does not know that. She does not know that at all. No way. No. Listen to her talk, man. She's delusional as fuck about that. She still thinks 2016 was stolen. You're not allowed to say 2020 was stolen, but she thinks 2016 was stolen.
That's hilarious. I would almost rather
argue that 2016 was the freest and fairest election in U.S. history.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that statement. Full-heartedly. And
I can't wait for the polls. Because there's a thing that's the incumbent debate bump, right? Traditionally, obviously, you follow politics long enough to know.
Yeah.
The incumbent always gets a bump from a debate. But is it always? Is it going to be this time? We shall see.
Now they're also like the media is also the Democrat Party. I did see this tweet from the Democrats today where it was like, well, technically this was a sanctioned debate, so so this one doesn't like count, right? Which like, and it's like, yeah, but you guys literally wanted this. This was and
if they had embarrassed Trump, they would cancel the official debate and say we already had one. See, they love to have their cake and eat it too. Now he has to. Essentially, if Joe Biden wants to remain the nominee, he has to commit to that second debate, which he has.
Yeah.
He reaffirmed his commitment to it this morning, or I don't know, his handler or whoever runs his Twitter. I mean, they were tweeting while he was on stage talking, so it's clearly not Biden making the fucking tweets.
Right. So...
which for U.S. record keeping and security purposes, I think we need an exact count of and identity for all the people who are making presidential tweets. I don't think you should be able to do that without denoting in the National Archives that no, Joe Biden didn't say this.
I would agree. Before we go on, though, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Rumble.store. Max, Rumble's exclusive apparel has finally arrived, and they're now offering 20% off all purchases in the Rumble store with the discount code DROP20. If you want to support the brand is fighting for free speech and fighting for our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. And by the way, Rumble actually went down for a bit last night because
we actually had to like wait a bit to do the Bits and Bones stream because I got a Rumble is not responding 404 for a while.
Yeah, we got the same thing over here. So I mean, they're really killing it. So and they have T-shirts, hats, sweaters, and a lot more, which I might actually get one. So go to Rumble.
Same. This is a sponsor
Store.
we wholeheartedly support, audience.
Yeah. And make sure to enter DROP20 as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. So there I have it.
And a big thanks to Rumble for letting us do the show here.
Well, that is one thing I actually want to bring up too, because YouTube, and we already knew they were going to do this, but they were DMCAing channels that were streaming the debate last night, even though it's
they've realized that our restream shit posting on the debate, like that everybody does, right? Everybody's been doing that since at least 2016 it got popular, but even in 2012 there was a lot of that, right? And from the very inception of streaming, there were people that would restream debates, and we all thought that, well, it can't possibly be a copyright issue because this is US politics, this is historical events, and so on and so forth. It should be immune. YouTube disagrees. YouTube thinks that their rules are more important than the law of the land, because this is not, by the way, this does not jive at all with the DMCA. But people think YouTube is the DMCA, so they let them get away with it. But that's not the case, right? What YouTube is doing is illegal. If you were copy claimed by YouTube over this, you should take them to court. Straight up, you should take them to court. And I know that most people don't have the time, the resources, or the ambition, but I don't know, as like an accolade, I guess, of Kurt Doolittle, like we have to fight these things in court. We have to stand for our rights.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, who the fuck is gonna? There's no mommy daddy figure coming to save us, right? The boomers abandoned us a long time ago. This is on us, guys. We got to put our work boots on. We got to get dirty. If we want to fix this fucking country, that's who's got to do it. And one of the ways to do that is not let them abuse your fucking rights. And so if you were affected by this, and this is not legal advice because I'm not a lawyer, I don't know your specific case, but if you feel like you have a case of a false DMCA claim from YouTube about this debate, you should absolutely follow it up in court.
Yeah. And
I wish the debate premise wasn't so boring to me, because I would have purposely baited that out so that I could take them to court. But I ended up just doing bits and bones, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I started to watch the stream a bit, and it seemed like you guys had a pretty good stream. I was gonna, if the debate had actually been interesting, like I would have just done like 20 minutes and then been like, okay, thanks for having me, and then I would have popped in. Hey,
here you go. Joe Fish Jr. in the chat says, I have this stupid cracker to blame for my weed felony. Fuck Joe Biden. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Joe.
Especially if it's a felony, because before the crime bill, there was no way to get a felony charge from pot. It was always a misdemeanor, not even for distribution. And then after that, it was a felony.
Yeah.
So yes, Joe, if you've ever gotten a marijuana related felony, it absolutely comes from the Joe Biden crime bill.
Yeah, we can thank creepy Uncle Joe for that.
Because we got to ruin people's lives for like a joint, right? That's a big important thing we got to do.
Well, it's also people want to keep talking about the military industrial complex. Let's talk about the prison industrial complex.
Well, if they want to use you're a felon at Trump as a fucking thing. Well, how many people are felons for the stupidest thing ever? What Joe Biden's like, you're a felon. Would he defend somebody who got a felon, like young black trans queer of color or whatever, who got a felony marijuana charge? Of course he would. But it came from him.
Well,
and is he so also the descheduling of weed, is he pardoned anybody? No.
Well, and someone actually brought this up. Like
Trump
he
pardoned
actually,
multiple people for felony marijuana convictions, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, a couple of whom I've actually met, by the way, too, at the Libertarian at YaleCon, back before the Libertarian Party went completely insane.
That's
But
the other
that's a
thing,
whole.
Sam, that's lurking. I was kind of trying to get this across to people. Joe Biden not only has the Trump problem, but Joe Biden has 3 insurgent candidates from the left.
Yeah.
So he's got RFK Jr., and the kind of left winger that's going to support RFK Jr. are the ones that are generally the ones skeptical of the vaccine or how they handled COVID, but they do still fall on the left because also he wants to ban guns and other things. So those people, the vaccine skeptic leftists, they're obviously going to vote for RFK. They would not vote for Joe, and they probably wouldn't vote for Trump either.
Yeah.
Secondly, and I think this one is being underrated by everybody, but I think, and as I've met her personally on many occasions, Dr. Jill Stein from the Green Party got arrested for Palestine protests. She's the Palestine candidate, right?
Yeah.
And so Joe can't be, he can't, if your thing is I'm pro-Palestine or whatever, why would you vote for Joe instead of her? So if the radicals on the left are already being, picked up by these insurgent candidates, and then the third left-wing insurgent candidate is Chase from, I forget his last name because it's not important, Chase from the Libertarian Party, who, if you care about gay rights and trans rights and all that stuff, and you want to make hate speech illegal, he's your candidate. Because he's the most first of all, he is gay as far as I understand. And second of all, he's been running for years as a libertarian on a platform of pro-gay stuff. So, all of these are going to draw from Joe Biden's voting pool for sure. How much?
Yeah.
Couple percentage points.
Well, I mean, so someone actually said that the RFK Jr. had a good night at the debate last night, and in truth be told, he kind of did.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said at the beginning of the show, like Trump really didn't have to do anything. Like this was a. I will agree with the Democrats that this was a mediocre night for Trump. But he didn't have to. All he had to do was show up and be himself.
Actually, I don't even think he had to show up. I think if he just said, "Nah, I'm not doing the debate," he still would have had. But we would have lost the opportunity to see Joe Biden in his natural habitat.
Yeah.
So big win for just Trump just being there. I will say, yeah, it's a win for all of 3 of the insurgent candidates I mentioned, not just RFK, because Biden fumbled the Palestine question as far as a lot of the left is concerned.
Yeah, he not only did he fumble, he didn't even answer it.
But he took a firm side though. He said only one side wants war, and it's the Palestine side. That, for a lot of the left, that's fumbling it. Even a lot of the people that are pro-Palestine, a lot of them will say they're both in the wrong, like Israel and Palestine, but none of them will say only Palestine's in the wrong. So you've alienated all of those leftist voters, I would say, with that one comment. Yeah. Maybe not enough to get them not to vote for you, but some of them for sure. And Jill Stein literally went to jail for a protest for Palestine. Now, she's Jewish, so maybe they might not like her for that reason.
Right.
But she's extremely pro-Palestine. To the point, she actually went to jail for it. And look, I understand. Jill Stein, Green Party, socialist, communist. I'm supposed to think she's the devil. Politically, we don't agree on pretty much anything. But in my experience with Dr. Stein, she's actually a very, reasonable person that you can talk to. And she might disagree, but she understands where I'm coming from. And so I have nothing unkind to say about her personally.
That's what Steve Stratton said about Tulsi Gabbard, too.
Yeah, I don't know Tulsi, so I can't, I have my issues with her. But frankly, Sam, you want to know who I think should be the pick for VP?
Who?
Dr. Ben Carson. No question.
Before I was a Trump guy in 2016, I was actually a Carson guy, so I would not.
His work in the housing authority and opportunity zones was amazing. He really came in and he reformed a lot of the federal housing authority from the top down. He got rid of diversity quotas so that it is now based on who needs the most, who needs to be in public housing rather than just based on race. He did the opportunity zones, for those that don't know, was a program that he and Trump developed through the Federal Housing Authority, where they would create zones within the inner city where if you start a business, you get no taxes at all for the first, I think, 3 years. That's nice. Fucking any small business owner in the audience knows how fucking huge no taxes for 3 years is. That's how you get businesses. That's how you increase economic success. And So that's what I would like to see more of. Barring that, if Ben Carson can't or they don't want him, I would like Vivek. I've again met him personally. I think he's a stand-up guy. I like him a lot. Some people have issues with him. I get that. But Dr. Carson is the most qualified for the job.
I would agree. And I think Vivek definitely has a future in the party. Like Vivek is the guy who I
have the place to put him.
Focus on in 20.
Press Secretary Ramaswamy.
Oh my god! Yeah. By the way, shout out to Joe's Atmosphere. We have it's a show full of Joes tonight. We're talking at Joe. We have 2 Joes in the audience, but Joe says, had a ball covering the elder abuse. The debate with you last night. Yeah. Likewise, Joe. Like I said, I was only expecting to show up for 20 minutes, and then I was going to dip
and be bored.
And turned out to be a lot more interesting than I thought. So, so here's a take from Joe. Actually, he says, I was backing Tulsi in 2020. Trump could do a lot worse for VP. Iraq war vet.
Yeah, that's big. Won't be in a hurry to send us into harm's way. That's big too, and I agree on those things. I have issues with her on other issues though. Things she said and positions she's taken in the past that I am not a big fan of her, in the sense of I'm not a vote for her kind of guy, but I do respect that she's an independent minded person. And also, yes, the anti-war thing does win me over quite a bit. However, her stance on guns, even if she says it's changed, has been atrocious in the past, and that's a big deal. That's a deal breaker for me. That alone,
it's a deal breaker for a lot of people. I would say that I would actually want her to come on to the show, because I think I could actually ask her some in-depth questions.
To be fair, that's a big ask. It's probably not going to happen, but I do think that she could win me over.
Yeah.
If I had time to sit there and talk with her, I think she could win me over. But yeah, I'm a Dr. Ben Carson. That's my hope.
Yeah,
because he's a fucking neurosurgeon. Really smart guy. Not and he counterbalances Trump in a lot of ways. He's not a hothead. He doesn't just say things off the cuff. He's very, well thought, well spoken, calm, and makes really good points. And I think that's a good counterbalance to Trump. But hey, it's not my choice. I'm just saying who I would prefer.
There's actually a.
Also,
There's actually
if he picks, I want to be clear. If he picks Tulsi, that's not going to stop me from voting for Trump.
No, I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be Tulsi either. Just because from what I've heard, whispers of it's not going to be a woman. It's going to be a man. From what I've heard, so maybe it'll be Ben Carson, but
To be fair, he says, understand that. Funny how your ideas on guns change when you have one pointed at you. I have, to be fair, more than once. I'm from the hood. Not even just from the hood, though. I talked about this on the show, Sam. There was a shooting right outside my house about 2 years ago. I literally ran out the door like an idiot.
Yeah.
So there, across the street where my mailbox is at, a guy just opened fire at a car driving by. And then he ran off. I didn't know he ran off, but my wife and son were outside. So like an idiot, but also like a dad, fling open the door. I didn't even have my shirt on. I'm running outside. Like, what the fuck? I probably could have been killed. So I do understand what it's like, is my point. By the way, the shooter was later caught. So yeah.
So, well, I think we've beat a Biden enough, though. So, it's not quite the fourth, but we're all taking off, for the fourth.
Right.
So,
right to Offend Media has decided, and we are declaring the official, week of our hiatus vacation. Why not the fourth? We're all going to be busy. We're all, American loving kind of people, have families and cookouts and things, and so we're going to take the week off. And that's so the programming note, that's across the board. That's the Whitfield Report, that's Bits and Bones, Sandwich Makers Broadcast. We'll all be returning next week or the week after the 4th.
Yeah, and that'll give me a chance to possibly book some guests. So, and also We'll probably be hearing the second annual Tales of Max's camping trip, which last year that was actually like one of the highest rated episodes.
Until we started getting big guests on, it was the highest for the longest time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea why, but I'm ready. I got my hatchet. I've been sharpening it, trying to get some of the rust off, as you can see. When you actually use your tools, this kind of happens. I got some steel wool for that and a sharpening blade. I've been sitting here. Sam, you know what I've been doing the past couple days is I've been sharpening my hatchet and watching true crime. And that sounds way worse than it really is, but
it's
true.
Yeah, you've been posted that in the Gilded server, and then you were like, "Oh crap, that sounds horrible."
Yeah. But yeah, I got my tents all ready to load in the car as soon as possible. I'm ready, Sam. I'm going to this beautiful campground that I've gone to since I was a child. It's not too far from where I'm at. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. And just a few days away from all of the bullshit. And we're going to go swimming. My son's all hyped to go fishing. He's already packing his toys. He has figures or action figures of all like the Toy Story characters. He's taking all of them. So we got Woody and Buzz and Jesse and Bullseye and Rex and Potato Head and everything else is coming camping. And yeah, I'm hyped. I'm gonna get some burgers, maybe some steaks for that first night on the grill. Can taste it already. I got my skillet. I got one, Sam. I got one of them old school cast iron skillets, the big heavy deals that like you never have to really do anything with. You know, you just wipe them down. Yeah, that came out great last year. So yeah, I'm hyped.
Do you guys go somewhere to watch fireworks, or do people do like
We do,
you-
but the big fireworks display here is actually not on the 4th. They have a week or two later, the like a kids' day carnival kind of deal where they raise money for firefighters and stuff.
right?
The firework display at that is like the best one in the area every year. So we plan for those fireworks and the carnival, and there's bands and stuff. I think I've talked about it on the show before. And then at the campground, no, it's just people will light off tons of them, which is illegal here, and nobody
But-
cares.
Yeah, because it's Independence Day weekend.
You just walk down to the beach, and there's gonna be a firework display. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna. You won't know who's even doing it, but it'll happen, and it'll
Well-
be fucking awesome. And maybe
Well,
a little closer than you would be at a professional one.
Well, as I've shared in the past, you know, I obviously live here in Florida, and our neighbors like to fire off fireworks off one of the docks, and so the entire neighborhood gets together and lights fireworks. I might be helping to light them this year because my mom and stepdad are actually going to be out of town, but I'll be here. So will Sam blow off one of his hands lighting fireworks? You might have to turn into my Instagram feed to find out.
You better take some video.
So
I want to see Sam blowing fireworks off. That'd be hilarious.
yeah. But I think it should be a good I think it should be a good week. It'll give me the opportunity to finish writing the Dogs of War 2,
There you
which
go.
will be released at the end of not this month but next month probably.
Yep. I'll tell
And
you,
then-
Sam. Talk about like just to kind of go back real quick to the firework displays of people like in the neighborhood. My favorite ever,
Yeah.
4th of July, was actually the 2020 lockdown one when they told us we couldn't. My whole neighborhood just went down to the park and started shooting off fireworks, and then the whole town
Oh.
turned into a war zone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you can't have fireworks. We have lockdowns. Everybody's like, oh yeah.
people here actually not only did they set their fireworks off, but they also like burned their masks too, or like burned their bandanas, or whatever they were making us wear on our
Well,
face. So,
to be fair, it's kind of a gated community, so we all just walked down to the park and started shooting off fireworks.
yeah.
That was amazing to me. And then for the rest of the night, anywhere in the city you went, it was just fireworks nonstop. Now, be unfortunate for some of my veteran friends who don't particularly appreciate that, but they are understanding because it's the 4th of July. Try and be a little considerate, though, guys. You know, just if you know that there's a veteran and he's expressed that this bothers him before, maybe take 100 feet further. That's all.
Also, for pet owners out there, please put your dogs in kennels and like make sure that they're in like a room with like some noise padding, because that is, dogs do not like fireworks. As anyone who owns a dog,
City
probably
people,
knows.
dogs don't. That's true.
Well, that's true, and a lot of there are a lot of city people who have dogs. So
Yeah. I was thinking, like, what are you talking about? And then I was like, oh, right, because like city people dogs, got it. Because my dog didn't give a. I mean, How are they going to be hunting dogs if they can't hear a rifle gunshot? You know what I mean?
That is true. My service dog actually did not mind fireworks when I had them, but you know, that's a different story.
But yeah,
So.
everybody out there, have fun, be safe, celebrate the birth of this nation that we all actually do love, despite whether we like who's in charge or not. And don't let them take that from us. So we're declaring a right to offend holiday. And what holiday would be better for that than the 4th of July?
Yeah, and this entire country was based on the right to offend, so it's very fitting, actually. So
what else we got going, Sam?
Not much. You know, I listen. I was not even going to do a show initially, but I'm just like, man, the meltdown from the corporate media over this is just too good to ignore. And like, even the New York Times is like saying that Biden should step down.
Yeah, it's wild how quickly they fucking turned on him. Huh? Amazing.
And Max, I would actually say that for the first time that you were actually wrong, because you said that this debate wouldn't affect anybody's
I was wrong, yeah.
opinions.
I said it wouldn't change one single vote, and I was wrong. 100% I was wrong. It changed votes.
Yeah, you and I were both wrong. I mean, I think this woke up a lot of normies who were like, who thought that all of the Biden memes were just edits from right wingers, and it's like, no, this is real. Like yeah, forget all the edits of Joe like falling down and whatnot, like, because elderly people do fall down, it happens, but most elderly people do not respond unless they have like advanced, as you mentioned, sunsetting and dementia or something like
something going on there. He was in outer space way too long for it to, and people noticed, and I guess I underestimated people, Sam. That's all.
Well, I do too. I mean, I do too. Meanwhile, like Trump is like 80, like Trump's close to 80 or something, and he look like, I did notice that like his hair is starting to kind of whiten. Like he's not even doing the whole blonde.
There was a video clip today of him golfing, and he takes a swing, and it's actually a fairly good swing, right, for a guy his age. And he turns to the camera and he's like, yeah, is Joe Biden gonna do that? I don't think so.
He should have done the George Bush, now watch this drive.
Oh God.
Thing just to parody. I mean, the one thing is like Richard Nixon and Trump can't actually golf, unlike all the other presidents.
But my big prediction with all this is that the DNC convention is actually dangerous. I wouldn't go there. Like if obviously we're on the right, so like why would we? But like if you're a journalist, like independent media, it might not be the safest place. I think it's gonna be a 1968 style riot.
Where is it this year?
I hope the fuck it's not in Chicago, because that would be too perfect. Hold on. DNC convention 2024. Chicago! It's in Chicago, Sam! Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, that's tough. Welcome to 1968 DNC Convention Part 2, only worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either there's going to be riots in the streets or like a paramilitary presence in the streets to quell that.
We might have to live stream some of that just to watch and see the reaction.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm not that interested actually in the GOP convention, except maybe to see Trump's acceptance speech. Because you can kind of tell what'll happen, and yeah, there will be Antifa outside and whatever. But man, this DNC convention in Chicago, in downtown Chicago, with half of their party hates Joe, calls him Genocide Joe. What's gonna happen? That's wild that it would be in Chicago. Man,
yeah.
that's gonna be nuts. All right, sorry, going off on that tangent, but geez, when does it start?
No. I mean, we were both curious, so glad to know that. What? Yeah, that will be the interesting thing. Is like, you know, the Republicans like pretty much have everything locked down this go round. I'm more curious to see what the Democrats do. You know, if they can do anything, they're definitely gonna have to steal this election.
August 19th through the 22nd, Sam. That's the DNC. Sorry.
Oh wow!
I wanted to get that out there. So yeah, we got what, a month, and then we can see that shit show unfold.
When is the RNC?
I don't know, but I think it's the week after or the week before.
They're doing the conventions late this summer. Like usually they're both in June or like early July.
July, yeah. Well, in the GOP's case, I mean, there was never a primary to speak of. I know the DeSantis people will be mad that I said that, but there never was a primary to speak of. The Democrats, I mean, there wasn't really either, but you'd expect them to be later because they're always a little later. And also just the state of Joe, the state of Mr. Biden. I can understand them wanting to push it off as long as possible because he's going to get up there to do his acceptance speech. And yeah, do you want that to happen right after this disastrous debate? Apparently they're going to have it right before the next debate. And then what? A month and then election time? Okay. So right, a month before the election, Joe Biden is going to have 2 very public, long-form appearances. I don't know if that's a good strategy, but that's what they're doing.
Meanwhile, like this was the other thing I pointed out, like because people were saying that like Biden was like prepping for 4 days just for this one debate. Meanwhile, like Trump's gone like 4 podcasts within the last like week, and like
12 rallies
podcasts too. Yeah,
12 rallies.
4 podcasts, 12 rallies. You know, he speaks long form. I mean,
I actually highly recommend, if anybody hasn't seen, the Logan Paul podcast that Trump went on was really good.
Yeah,
and it's only like an hour, so it's not that big of a commitment.
Yeah, and then he
unlike our podcast, that's way longer.
And then he was on with the All In podcast last week as well, and they Trump actually, unlike Biden, actually knows what AI is, and like actually has a plan for like how to deal with AI that is like way better than Biden, who gets scared because people made GTA videos with him in it, and he thinks that that's AI, and it's not. So, but
damn computers, he says.
Yeah,
fucking kids with their computers, and this is the guy running the country. Just so you know, doesn't understand technology. Wants to tell you how you're allowed to use said technology, but doesn't understand it.
Well, that's a lot of the boomers in Congress, you know, on both sides, to be fair.
Yep.
So, well, Max, I think I think this was a good way to bookend the week and kick off the 4th of July celebration. I guess we have a week off. It ought to be good. So,
Oh,
yeah.
We'll miss our beloved audience, but we'll be back. I got
We
some
will.
stuff cooked up for the sandwich makers. They just besides the 4th of July stuff, they got personal stuff going on. Bits and Bones guys are going off to do stuff. You got plans, I got plans, so we'll be back and it'll be great. Maybe refreshed, maybe more energetic. Certainly, this has been a turning point in this election cycle for. I think it's the most significant thing that's happened yet. It might be.
Yeah. Yeah, who would have known that the thing that we thought was going to be the least interesting thing actually turned out to be like I was actually kind of like oh man, I should like send the link to Max so that he could like, but you were in the midst of Bits and Bones, so like
we were talking about video games seems more interesting. Well, and plus Tim from Bits and Bones actually had to take the night off, so I was like, oh, I'll just jump in and help you guys out.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I do here, huh? Although I don't think I could sit in and replace one of the women on the that would be weird.
No, but I mean, you could just give them crap. I mean, but I mean, you already do that.
No, I'll just be one of the girls for that episode. That's it.
That's a scary thought. So,
but yeah, I'm so hyped. I showed the other day. My son got me the blue. He also got me the red Eagle shirt. Dad needs to be wearing eagles and flags for him to be happy.
Based that is a good son you're raising there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, he associates that stuff with good times like fireworks and camping and cookouts and it's almost like if you raise your kids to not hate this country, they have positive experiences. Weird.
Exactly. So
he's going to be happy. We're going to have some fun. You're going to be happy. We're all going to connect back. And Sam, I think we're going to DC next year.
Oh yeah, I think
I wasn't sure I think Trump's going to win was my stance all along, but it didn't seem real. And then I looked at the calendar and I'm like, oh God. I'm going to have to go to DC in a few months, huh?
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
Like I hadn't even been looking at tickets because I was like, hey, it might happen, it might not, but I actually started looking. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I ought to look at Amtrak tickets now because
man, we're gonna take a picture. I'm gonna have to kneel so that we can get in the same frame.
Yeah. So
good stuff.
So and since it'll be in January, I'll be like bundled up in a coat most likely. So and probably 5 sweaters or something like that.
Oh no, Sam! Global warming is gonna kill us all by then, don't you know?
Well, I wasn't supposed to graduate high school because of global warming, right? The Mayan calendar back in 2012 was supposed to kill us all, and then a bunch of us used that excuse to play hooky from school that day because we were like, if it's in the world, fuck it, we're not going to school. So and sure enough, everything was normal. So
see, last year I didn't take any pictures. This year I'm gonna take pictures. Well, I took pictures, but not that many. I'm gonna take some pictures. I'll probably show off some of the fun places we went and stuff after we get back.
Yeah. So, well, folks, I think that'll just about do it. Have a good 4th, folks. The 4th Estate in Shadows of Deception.
Yeah,
is
have
on,
a good 4th Estate.
It is it is on sale for the 4th of July. Too, or it will be.
I love how he just moves past my bad joke. That's great.
Tonight.
Sam is a true professional, ladies and gentlemen.
So, well, I had to make up for almost like cracking up on air last week. That was like the most.
That's the best sponsor we've ever had. Because I was trying not to die laughing. You see, a little inside baseball chat. The official Rumble ad reads, I try not to derail them at all because, it's coming from Rumble. We want to do, we try to be professional, And then the fucking ad reads about fucking hemorrhoids and butts. And I'm a giant child, so I can't stop laughing. That's the most well-written ad ever just because it was clever, but it's like, we know this is going to make people laugh, so let's just lean into it. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that ad, pay them more.
Yeah, well, and thank God, like, the payout was worth it for us to do it too. So, like, we earned that too.
That's right. So buy your hemorrhoid gummies and enjoy.
And also buy merch from Rumble. Promo code in the description. So.
I might grab one of them hoodies with the Rumble logo. That'd be pretty tight.
Yeah. So, alrighty, folks. We'll see you after the holiday, I guess. Take care.
God bless America.
God bless America.